Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new edition of Student TV, a television program owned by a global confederation of Romanian students. Today's guest is Mr. Van.
Hello.
A young businessman born in Romania in a small village but who now resides in the United States. So, how old were you when you first moved to the US?
When I first moved to the US, I was 8 years old, about to turn 9. I moved there with my mom because my parents had gotten a divorce, and my mom wanted to move to be closer to her sister who just moved there with her family.
Oh, yeah.
So, I was about 9.
And how did you adapt to living there without knowing the language, the culture, or without having any of the friends that you actually grew up with?
Well, I think the fact that I was really young, I was able to absorb the language really fast. And plus, I was also around a lot of kids at school all the time that were really friendly. And I kind of got integrated really fast in that point of view. And then also at home, my cousins who were just a few years older than me were always speaking the language and listening to American music, like Eminem and stuff. And I just picked up on that and just became kind of ingrained in the culture. And
wow, that's amazing. You adapted very easily.
yeah.
I also know that you started working really young, about at 15 years old, something like that. But you also eventually quit your job and started your own business. What led to that decision?
I did start working pretty young. I was like 15 years old and I started working consistently until I was like 25. And then as I grew into my 20s, I started doing a lot of art. Like I started making films and doing photography and different things that creatively it felt like I was being held back by going to work 8 hours, 9 hours a day at positions that weren't really fulfilling me spiritually or anything. So I had a good friend that was into business and doing like these online stores and stuff. So he always would encourage me to try to look into that as like another option to make a living. So then eventually I kind of just took his advice and just jumped in, quit my job and just started an online store and just like to see where it would go. And then I haven't looked back since.
Wow, that's a life story. What kind of businesses do you operate now, and what are your immediate plans for the future?
So I still operate online stores. I originally started with this medical equipment store, and then later also created like a salon and spa store that I operate. And the money that I've made from those stores and the capital that I was able to build off of that, eventually I was able to create a product of my own. So I made this potion. It's called Mr. Vaughn's Potion, and it's basically like a matcha based tea.
Oh, wow.
And it has all these different ingredients. It's got these mushrooms, it's got ashwagandha, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, and chlorella. So it's kind of like a health potion, I like to call it.
Oh, I heard that chlorella is very good for your skin.
Yeah, chlorella is very good for your skin because it actually has the same composition as our blood does.
Oh.
So it replaces our dead blood cells. So we basically like regenerate our skin and our insides by taking it in. So if you apply it to your skin, it's really good. If you drink it, it's really good for your blood. So yeah, there's a lot of really healthy stuff in this, and it also tastes good. So yeah,
That's
it's
a plus.
great product.
I wanted to ask you, given the fact that you're now living in the US, would you consider moving back home an option maybe for the future?
I definitely would consider, I don't know about full-time moving back, but I would consider coming back here and having a place, like maybe building a house or buying some land and having some sort of operation here that I could have as like a kind of a home base.
Yeah.
So I could maybe expand with the potions in Romania.
Yeah.
Or just have a place where I could, when I have kids, I could have them be attached to the culture in like a vivid way and have a place to bring them. And I think I would still be able to operate my business throughout the world as I do now from all the things that I've learned in America. So I think it would be a good option. And as I get older, I definitely am moving more towards being in tune with my Romanian culture. I think when I was young, I kind of lost touch and I was like very like tunnel vision on living in America and building my life there. Now as I'm older, I come here more often. I'm more ingrained in the culture, it feels like, so I would love to be able to bring that forward and within my family as I, after I get married and have kids, I'd like to
Yeah.
have them have a part here as well.
Well, I do wish you luck, and I wish for you to achieve everything that you want. And thank you so much for being here today with me. And also, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching us.